Here, sir. With Segrit's compliments, sir.
What's the catch this time?
No catch, sir. Said he wanted to help the Inquisition. Plus, I think the herbs were going to go off and nobody wanted to buy them. I think Segrit wanted people to like him.
Well, good enough.
Okay.
You're back. And in one piece.
Mm-hmm. How do I order potions?
How do I go about having potions made?
Just take a look there and tell me what you'd like. Find a recipe for something better, I can make that too.
Oh, maybe I found a recipe for it. Where are my recipes anyway?
You're back. And in one piece.
How are things?
How are your people holding up?
No one's declared me a heretic recently, so I won't complain.
Okay. Alright. Goodbye.
Farewell.
Let's see. My inventory... Upgrades. Okay, these are the only upgrades I have. All upgrades, okay. Accessories. Where are my potions and schematics? Where are they? Oh! This whole game I don't think I've ever scrolled down here. I don't think I have. The whole game. Okay, so now I know how much of everything I've got. Wow. 84 Drakestone. It's a metal. Okay. I have some dragon blood. Rune material. Huh. Spindleweed. It's just an herb. I don't know what to do with it. Weapon schematics. Darkspawn shield. Oh, okay. I can make it with these materials. Wide greatsword grip. Balanced dagger. Double bearded axe. Hunting bow. Keeper staff. Leaf mace. Raider hatchet. Okay. Look at all this stuff I can make. Whoa. Holy cow. Frost rune. Firm bow grip. What does it do exactly? What do I do with it? How do I know if I can make something? Huh. I don't know. Weapon, armor, recipes. Inquisition tapestries. Jars of bees. Serpent stone iron. What do I do with this? Man, I don't know. I don't know. No reason to talk to Solace, I don't think. Might not be a bad idea to talk to Sera since I've been doing so much adventuring with her. She might have something new to say. Oh.
I told you that it was complicated. Without the divine...
You people, with your fancy robes and your fancy words, you think you sing a better chant than the rest of us, but you really only hear yourselves nattering on. We don't need a divine. We have the herald.
Oh my.
Whatever he says is good enough for me.
Okay then. Well, try not to let that go to my head. Have I read this already? The Singing Maiden. Have you ever heard the story of King Bedwer? Bedwer, like most kings, was a man of great pride, who expected nothing but complete loyalty from his subjects. He believed the best way to achieve this was through fear. After all, those who feared him would never cross him or question his rule. Most importantly, those who feared him would always seek to please him. Bedwer cultivated terror in his subordinates through the gleeful and unrestrained use of a contraption referred to as the Maiden. The Maiden was a hinged iron casket, as high and wide and deep as a man, with vicious spikes within, meant to pierce through the poor soul locked into it. Bedwer's Maiden was a prized possession and stood in place of honor in his throne room, often with a screaming victim inside it. Political rivals, suspected assassins, treasonous ministers, the Maiden consumed them all. But as time passed, more people were given to the Maiden for increasingly trivial offenses. the cook for oversalting the king's food, the page boy for dropping his sword, the maiden cast a pall over the kingdom, and its people prayed for deliverance from their cruel king. Then one day a strange woman rode into the city. She called herself Ember and was an emissary from a far-off land. Her leaders had heard, she said, of Bedwyr's wisdom and authority, and she sought the king's counsel. The thought that he had earned the adulation of brother kings across the sea made Bedwyr swell with pride, and he granted Ember an audience. They dined and danced, and through it all, Ember flattered and fawned on the king. At the end of the night, Ember asked to see the maiden, the infamous device that had given Bedwyr all his power. The king, giddy with praise, proudly presented Ember with the empty contraption. Ember looked at the maiden, sighed with disappointment, and said, "That does not look terrifying at all. I should have imagined the spikes to be much sharper." Bedwyr grew red at her comment and replied, "The spikes are sharp enough. Look at the blood that still clings to them." "But it's so small," said Ember. "Are only children and women its victims?" Bedwyr grew redder still and replied, "Of course not. The maiden has devoured many men." Ember shook her head and said to the king, "I do not believe it. Surely no warrior could fear this thing. A man like yourself, tall and muscled, would not fit within." The king laughed and saw a way to prove the merit of the maiden to Ember. "I will show you how easily a man like myself could fit," he said, and with that, he stepped into the device. But Ember was waiting, and no sooner had Bedwyr squeezed himself into the iron casket than Ember slammed it shut on him. Ember took the maiden, with the screaming Bedwyr inside, through the castle and down into the city, and the people, finally free from the king's tyranny, cheered and danced to the singing that echoed through the streets, until Bedwyr was dead and had finally stopped. A tale often told in the Singing Maiden Tavern. Well, that was a beautiful story.
And how much did you need?
10 sacks would do it.
Is there any way you could get by with 6?
If you only have 6, why did you ask how much I needed?
I was really hoping you only needed 6.
See if she's anything new to say. What's up, Flissa?
Can I get you anything?
I guess that's... I already asked her all that stuff.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Yes.
All right, Sarah, what's up?
Your wish is something, something.
Investigate. Any opinion about our allies? I've already asked her all of this
What do you
stuff.
think about the people who have gathered?
Which? The ones who do things, or the ones who give orders?
What does she think about Cassandra?
Thoughts about Cassandra?
Not as buttoned up as she plays, right? Tough, though. I'd stand behind her in front of anything.
Varric?
Anything to say about Varric?
Varric? Too clever. Always saying something, but never saying it straight.
Solus?
What about Solus?
Solus? His head's crammed up 1,000 years ago.
And my advisors?
What do you think about our spy master, ambassador, and commander?
Liliana is pretty in places. Swear I've seen her too. Or heard she used to play. But that'd be mad. Now Josephine, she's as good at humbling her kind as I am. Just with less mess. Knows her business. You have to have it. And colour. I suppose if you want a jackboot, you get a big one so you can grow into it. Nice hair.
Nice hair, though. Okay, what do you think about Vivienne? I don't think she likes Vivienne at all.
What's your opinion of Vivienne?
She's a bitch. She knows. She's better.
Okay. Iron Bull?
What's an Iron Bull?
It makes me wonder about things. I mean, what do the women look like? Woof.
And Blackwall?
Any thoughts about Warden Blackwall?
He's too good, right? Like to see him out of that uniform. Not like that.
Okay.
We'll talk later.
Good, right? I'll be here.
Okay. Well, yeah. It was interesting. I forget where... Okay, Vivienne... Actually, what was I thinking? I travel with Cassandra all the time. Why is she not giving me new dialogue? The heck was I thinking when I said that earlier? Oh, I didn't see this sign over here. Andraste's Mabari. You know Andraste's old Mabari. he don't show up in the chant, and if you ask those holy sisters, well, they'll say Andraste can't have had some big old smelly war dog. But all Ferelden knows it right. Our sweet lady needed someone who would warm her feet at night. And there's Andraste's Mabari by the holy prophet's side. In the fight against Tevinter, that dog would never hide. They say the Maker sent him special, always loyal without pride, so he could be the sworn companion of the Maker's holy bride. Oh, that dog, he guards Andraste without arrogance or fear, only asking of his mistress just a scratch behind the ears. But then old Mafrath goes to plotting, tries to lure that dog away. But even as they trap the prophet, her Mabari never strays. And there's Andraste's Mabari by the holy prophet's side. In the fight against Tevinter, that dog would never hide. They say the Maker sent him special, always loyal without pride, so he could be the sworn companion of the Maker's holy bride. Oh, they thought the wounds had killed him, but then he limped out toward the fire, and Hessarian, he shed a tear as that dog laid on the pyre. And there's Andraste's Mabari by the holy prophet's side. In the fight against Tevinter, that dog would never hide. They say the Maker sent him special, always loyal without pride, so he could be the sworn companion of the Maker's holy bride. Yes, that Mabari is the companion of the Maker's holy bride. A popular, if historically unlikely, Ferelden Tavern song. It's historically unlikely. Alright. Oh, I'm not going to loot anything because I'm full on inventory. Let's see. Let's go down here and let's just check out Cassandra's dialogue. I mean, maybe she has more dialogue that looks the same but is actually different. I don't know. Let's go try it out. Because she really should have more to talk about since we...
Do you need something?
Since we take her out all the time.
I have some more questions.
Why am I not surprised?
Still not ready to tell me about her brother.
About your brother.
I would prefer not
Okay.
to speak of Anthony.
So still not talking
Another
about
time,
him.
perhaps.
Oh,
I'll let you get back to work.
no I won't. I'm going to talk to you again.
Yes?
Seekers. Does she have
Tell
anything
me
new to
more
say?
about the Seekers.
More about the Seekers,
The
okay.
Seekers of Truth were born from the original Inquisition long ago, when it united with the Chantry. Seekers stood above the Templars, watching over them but also investigating magical events they couldn't handle. We were meant to be incorruptible, above reproach. How seldom does reality match the ideal?
Ain't that the truth? But what are Seekers?
But what are Seekers exactly?
Those who know anything of us think we are Templars. We do not use lyrium, however. Our abilities are different, as was our original purpose. We disciplined the Templars and were accountable only to the Divine, and not even her, truthfully.
So, you led the Templars?
So the Seekers commanded the Templars?
No, the Order didn't assume command until after the rebellion. The Templars have always feared us. When a Seeker arrived at a circle, they knew trouble was afoot. That kind of power is troubling. You begin to think you are the only one who can solve the world's problems. If you don't see a problem, it doesn't exist. If someone insists it does, they are the blind ones.
Could that be fixed?
Do you think that kind of problem could ever be fixed?
Possibly. Though the Seekers themselves would need to change. They were clearly not willing to, even though they abandoned everything they stood for to avoid it. In my heart, I believe they can still be salvaged, but not by their own hands.
What abilities do you have?
You mentioned that Seekers have different abilities than Templars.
Entirely. A Templar's abilities come from lyrium and are designed to hunt mages. Ours come from ritual and many years of dedicated training. We cannot be possessed by demons and are immune to mind control. Useful considering our role. Seekers can gain other gifts, though that depends on the individual.
What are your gifts?
What kind of gifts do you have?
I can set the lyrium within a person's blood aflame.
What?
Both mages and Templars bend before my will.
Oh my.
Some Seekers use it to interrogate, others simply to paralyze. Once there was a Seeker who could use it to kill. That particular gift is considered rare.
How did you become a Seeker?
How does someone become a Seeker?
Most Seekers begin training in their youth. I was much older. An exception due to my noble birth. We train rigorously for years. Our bodies and minds must be elastic to undergo the vigil, and most fail even then.
What is the vigil?
Is the vigil some kind of initiation?
It is the rite every seeker must go through in order to summon their gifts. A full year of fasting, prayer, and separation from all distractions, including other people. We empty ourselves of all emotion, focusing only on the purity of our devotion. And the moment it finally ends, it's wonderful. Faith realized. I cannot put it into words.
Well, it does sound pretty wonderful. You were delirious.
I wish I could experience that.
If the vigil was not so arduous, I'd say more should attempt it. What if mages never needed to fear possession by demons? I'm told it is impossible, however. I suppose I'll never know the truth of it now.